welcome to this live. Here with some questions that I'll go through and answer, and provide a little bit more of an update in terms of what's been happening. Quite a fair amount of stuff going on, and so people, I guess, a few people excited. I don't know. Maybe just supportive, encouraging of what is coming up and looking forward to it. I'm using the mobile phone and then looking at the laptop here to get at the questions to try to have make an improvement on the video quality. So the camera on the phone is better than the webcam on my laptop, so we'll see how that goes. If I bloody forget to look at the camera here whilst going through this stuff, yeah, bear with me. So anyway, what have we got? First, sorry, just trying to get to bring up the questions on the screen. Let's just bring that up as well. And take that volume down. So I learnt yesterday? One of the fellas saying, is this fella, can he even see his super chats or whatever? And the answer is no, I couldn't. Oh, bloody hell, that doesn't look very clear on my end. Anyway, we'll see how we go. That is open. First question. So this one here, first one or two, just in and around selection itself. So selection prep. The selection prep and reality stuff is in the members only section. That's more for those that are genuinely looking to do selection. There's a handful of people that I work with, that I'm lucky enough to work with, that are specifically training for selection. And then there's a few that I don't specifically work with one-to-one, that that want to just get access to some of the information, mostly in regards to the generic program that I've put out, the 3-phase program, and right now just been running through and just completed weeks 5 and 6 run through for people of the first phase. The first phase in that generic program is 12 weeks, and we're about halfway through. So I combined last week weeks 3 and 4 into one video, and then today weeks 5 and 6 into one video, just so that people can get a bit better idea. There's a fair bit of repetition and stuff in that first phase, to be fair, throughout the whole program, focusing on the key areas for selection that people will need to be good at. So the running, the body weight, the pack marching, and swimming. There's not a lot of swimming in there, but depending on where you're doing selection, actually. But I think by the sounds of things, there's some swimming elements that have definitely increased, at least in the Australian selection, as part of their selection course itself. So anyway, first question, should I use those distance tracking apps to help me with tracking my distances when pack marching, i.e. Strava, a Garmin, etc.? Good question. Should you use them? Yeah, I mean, if you want to, like, it's only going to help if your intent is to set the time or go for a certain period of time and try to cover maximum distance, as an example, or you're restricting yourself within a time frame to complete a set distance within that time frame. Then yeah, I can see the benefit of that and how that can help. What I would say is, I would encourage, in conjunction with that. So as an example, from my side, there likely were Garmins and stuff around before I did the Australian selection. I don't recall any of that sort of stuff being around before I did selection in NZ, which is fine. So you were heavily dependent on your pacing over 100 meters and having a good understanding or an idea of what that was. And whatever tools you used to keep your paces, whether it was a little pace counter, the little silver clicker, or whether some people used the pacing beads that they had. I forget what term they had. Some people called them the rosary beads, worry beads, and some other descriptions as well. But some people would have those on their webinar on their pack, and they'd slide those on the string up or down, depending on which way they're going. So that's just a bit easier to keep track of how far they've come. So what I would suggest is, and or some people like me, I didn't have the beads. Actually, no, I did have a pace counter, but not on selection. Um, just had to go off memory as well as you could. So what I would encourage is maybe a combination of your um, technical aids, GPS, Garmin, Strava app, whatever, and use that in conjunction though, or primarily be doing your pacing. So keep your pacing, whatever time you set. So 1 hour, 2 hours, I want to be able to cover this amount of distance in that amount of time, or I'm just going to go for 1 or 2 hours and I'm just going to go as hard as I can to try to cover as much distance as I can with my pack, etc. And do your paces. What I would say is don't look at your Garmin or whatever app you're using until after your stopwatch has gone off or whatever time you're using, and or you've gotten back to where you started from. Then hit stop, and then note down or recall whatever distance was that you covered. So if you covered 8 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 15, whatever, use that first, and then have a look at your Garmin or your Strava app, and then have it confirm or unconfirm how accurate your pacing was over that period of time. That's what I would recommend, as opposed to just relying on, and not that you've said that you're looking to rely on, but you've asked, should I use distance tracking apps to help me with tracking my distances when pack marching? Yeah, by all means, like, use them, I reckon, but try to be across and be good at your pacing over your distance and time. Bearing in mind that as and when you're preparing for whatever that is that you're preparing for, so say in this case, potentially selection for this person, because you don't actually say if you're preparing for selection, I'm making an assumption. What was I going to say? You're going to be blinking knackered on selection. So prior to that, and as part of your training and prep, you're probably going to be reasonably fresh, hopefully well recovered, hopefully well fed, hopefully well rested, etc., and ready to go. Maybe you won't be, and I encourage that as well. I've shared that a number of times. I definitely am an advocate for doing things when you are in a less than ideal state, not to the point where it's going to be, near on detrimental to your safety and well-being, or other people's safety and well-being in that process. But a bit of fatigue, pre-fatigue and stuff with regards to how you're tracking or how you're feeling, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Actually, I'd need to just bloody have a look on this. I don't know if I don't even know if there's anybody on here, actually, to be honest. Let's have a look, just in case there is. Where are we? Recording, it says. Oh, recording and pro. Let's go back. It says join session. Maybe I'll have to mute that as well. Let's see. Apologies, just having a look, because each time, actually this time I haven't said it, but each time when I say that there's probably nobody on here, there's bloody people on there, and some people have been dropping comments. Join studio, is that what I'm wanting to do? Let's turn that off. If I am joining, I don't need the camera on in 2 places. Bloody hell, let's just join.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.